Well, the virus has now killed more than 100 people in China, and new cases have been confirmed around the world.
So you don't want to frighten the American public.
France and South Korea have also got evacuation plans.
But you need to prepare for and assume
strongly warning Americans to avoid all non-essential travel to China.
That this is going to be a real serious problem.
France, Australia, Canada, the US, Singapore, Cambodia, Vietnam, the list goes on.
Health officials are investigating more than 100 possible cases in the US.
Germany, a man has contracted the virus.
The epidemic is a demon, and we cannot let this demon hide.
Japan, where a bus driver contracted the virus.
Coronavirus has killed more than 100 people there and infected more than 4,500.
We have to prepare for the worst, always, because if you don't and the worst happens.
War Room Pandemic. Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
And I had gotten a commitment from Poroshenko and from Yatsenyuk that they would take action against the state prosecutor, and they didn't. So they said they were walking out to the press conference. I said, no, I said, I'm not going to, we're not going to give you the $1 billion. They said, you have no authority. You're not the president. The president said. I said, call him. I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting the $1 billion. I said, you're not getting the $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was, what, 6 hours? I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Well, son of a bitch, got fired. And they put in place someone who was solid at the time. Well,
Raheem Kassam, I want to toss it back to you. This is War Room Pandemic. It's the 15th of October, year of our Lord 2020. John Fredericks Radio Network, Real America's Voice, Dish Channel 219, and Comcast and Chicago Channel 113, and of course, Newsmax TV in 70 million homes now. Chris Reddy and the team down in Florida doing a great job. Also, G News, GTV, blown through the firewall. My understanding is from the GTV people this morning, the Rudy Giuliani, Steve Bannon, back-to-back interviews on GTV blew through the firewall VPN. They're saying there's like 100 million audience they couldn't get enough of after Global Times had teed everybody up that this is a quote-unquote great gift to President Trump in the closing days of the campaign, this exposure of the corruption of the Biden family and the Chinese Communist Party. We're going to have later in this segment Chris Fenton, author of Feeding the Dragon, a businessman that knows how the Chinese Communist Party rolls. Raheem, could it be any clearer right there? That's pretty straightforward, right? What Biden said to kind of reinforce now that all the emails are out on the Burisma situation?
Well, and here's the thing. I want to see if we can get this graphic up as well from this screen grab from Twitter, because what Twitter has been allowing, well, it hasn't been allowing links to the New York Post. It has been allowing, they do these sort of news roundups on trending page. And I took a screen grab of it. I sent it to Vish. I hope the America's Voice team can get this screen grab up on the screen. It says, Joe Biden did not push out a Ukrainian prosecutor for investigating his son, the Washington Post confirms. And then there's a little blurb underneath it. What they do is they just send this out on the trending page instead of actually allowing people to look at the trends themselves and make their own minds up. It's kind of their way of saying, okay, you might be seeing a lot of noise out there, but this is the signal as far as it comes from Twitter, and this is what we've fact-checked. So we've got it up on screen here now, and I've highlighted the section that people need to look at here. It says, according to the Washington Post, then Vice President Biden played no role in pressuring Ukraine officials into firing the prosecutor. Played no role. Well, hold on. We just heard from the Vice President himself speaking there at the Council on Foreign Relations. He said, well, SOB, they fired the prosecutor within the next 6 hours after I bribed and extorted them with the $1 billion aid money that was supposed to be going to Ukraine anyway. That same prosecutor was, and even up till this past year, was still investigating Burisma as an entity, as an organization. It was still under investigation. The prosecutor was removed because he was getting to the crux of the Biden crime family's involvement with Burisma.
Okay, I just want to do a reset here, and maybe we can get ready to tee up that Council on Foreign Relations part where he talked about his private dinners with Xi. But I just want to reset for a second. Over a year ago, I started hammering it's been almost 2 years now because of the Peter Schweitzer book. At the time, the research was done for Secret Empires, where they focused on foreign influence on Capitol Hill. Really, the two guys they focused on were Joe Biden, never thinking Joe Biden would ever run again for public office, and Mitch McConnell. And actually, Mitch McConnell didn't come out great in the book either. But I've been saying now for a couple of years that Joe Biden's got to come clean with their family's involvement financially with the Chinese Communist Party. And I said at the time, this is more than Bohai. This is more than the private equity that Peter Schweitzer did such an amazing job of opening up about this $1.5 billion he got when he went over with Joe Biden a couple of years ago, when Biden was, quote unquote, head of the pivot to Asia under President Obama while he was vice president. Then, starting this year, when the pandemic started, Joe Biden took the side, Beijing Biden took the side of the CCP. I think it was the 29th or 30th of January when the president came out after Peter Navarro's memo, right, which was inspired by war and pandemic. You can see it had many of the sources were Dr. Gabriel Leung of Hong Kong University, the guys over in Europe and in the Bloomberg School of Public Health up at Johns Hopkins, where he said, hey, if you don't take immediate action shutting down China and quarantine people and come back, you'd have 2 million casualties. President did it immediately. Beijing Biden that day denounced the president as a racist, a nativist, a xenophobe, etc. Then starting really in June and July, Raheem Kassam and the guys at National Pulse started warning America, and particularly conservatives, that come election nights, these oligarchs in Silicon Valley, given all the work they had done post-Trump victory to use artificial intelligence, these other aspects, the Project Veritas and other organizations exposed so brilliantly that this is going to be a massive problem in this election. And now it's all come to pass. The convergence of both of those threads, okay, the Chinese Communist Party's influence peddling and really compromising of Joe Biden. Joe Biden, who in the New York Post today owns 10% of a joint venture they were working on that would actually bring him tens of millions of dollars. His corrupt family, you look at the chart they went out, $850,000 here, $15,000 a month there. Just go and get the details. The Daily Mail has taken the story, repurposed it, put it up as their lead with a couple of great pictures of Hunter Biden, I think, sucking on that crack pipe like he's always doing. He's a guy you want as chairman of your board. Right, he's a guy you put on as in a sophisticated energy company like CEFC was. This is who you put in as a joint venture with the Biden family. You put a crackhead. You put a crackhead. By the way, one of the tweets I saw last night, black kids are being rounded up in these neighborhoods and put under arrest, throwing them in federal prison, right? But no, Joe Biden's son, not only can he become a naval officer because Joe Biden wants him to, he can sit there and smoke crack all day long out in the open, mocking people, taking photographs of it, making films about it. He can do it. You know why? Because he's protected by daddy. Right? And he can get in the Navy, or he can go to China and become head of an organization, make $850 a year, own 20% of it, make hundreds of millions of dollars on the Chinese Communist Party payroll. Think about all the blood that went into that. Think about all the agony of the underground Catholic Church, the underground evangelical church. Think about the Uyghurs. Think about the concentration camps. Think about the Tibetan Buddhists. Think about the live organ harvesting. Think about all the suppression with the firewall. Think about, the Orwellian environment that they have there every weekend. Right, my co-host Jack Maxey, a pretty tough hombre, every weekend's choking up, and we're doing the Saturday show with the voices of the Chinese people, the little guy, Lao Beijing, old 100 names, the deplorables of China sitting there going, these people are devils, right? They've destroyed our culture. They've destroyed our society. They treat us like robots. They throw us in prison. They have total control of our lives. You hear their voices in their fight for liberation, but no, the Bidens are taking that blood money and feathering their nest. Now, talk about a group that's unqualified. What has James Biden ever done in his life except be the bag man for Joe Biden for getting the cash? What has Hunter Biden ever done except do drugs out in the open, live a life of depravity, and you'll get to see in living color how depraved that life is. Not Steve Bannon talking about it. You'll get to see it with your own lying eyes, right? So, and what has he ever accomplished in his life? He actually said, when the CBS 60 Minutes interview him, said, hey, if your name wasn't Biden, given your professional achievements and understanding, do you think you got that? He was at least nice. I said, no, I don't think I would, right? No, sir. Certainly you would not have. And you took blood money. All those joint ventures, everything in the New York Post should be covered. It should be painted in red. It's blood money. off of the sweat and the agony of the Chinese people, okay? The Chinese people that are kept in slave labor by this brutal dictatorship of the Chinese Communist Party. You're in business with them. That's just like being in business with the Nazis back in 1932 and 33. Okay, look at what they've done in Hong Kong. Look what they've done to suppress every religious organization. Look what they're doing up in Mongolia. Look what they're doing in Manchuria. Look what they're threatening Taiwan with. Look what they got Dr. Yan's over here. She's trying to explain to us how this was not a natural virus, how the CCP virus is man-enhanced. And what do? They roll up her mother. They arrest her mother and throw her in prison in Beijing. Look at these guys throughout the world, and the Bidens are their partners. The Bidens are their partners. The Bidens have taken blood money from the Chinese Communist Party to feather their own nests because they're too incompetent to make it in American life. What they got to do, they've got a business. And Rudy Giuliani said yesterday, here's the business model, selling access to Joe Biden, right? And now they think they've hit the mother lode that, you know, they're going to make him president of the United States. I got news for Kurt Campbell, Jake Sullivan, Tony Blinken. Your dreams of recoupling are going to burn up in ashes. It will never happen. The American people will never let it happen. You've been exposed. You guys knew about this. What did Blinken know, and when did he know it? What did Jake Sullivan know, and when did he know it? What did Kurt Campbell know? Hey, Kurt, stop writing all the thought pieces in foreign affairs, right, and start focusing on the corruption of James Biden and Hunter Biden and the rest of what Rudy Giuliani calls the Biden crime family. I think Steve Cortez said that today on Maria Bartiromo. Her head blew up. It's pretty hard to shock her. So, guys, we're going to get Chris Fenton on here in a few minutes. But, Jack, Raheem, give me some context. Tell me where we are in this story right now with Varney, with the president, with Twitter, with social media. Where are we?
I got a little breaking news. Josh Hawley has just sent letters to both Mark Zuckerberg and Dorsey at Twitter. They are going to have a hearing. It's going to be called Digital Platforms and Elections Interference. It will be held before the election. He quote to Dorsey, as your company is no doubt aware, corporations are forbidden from contributing anything of value, financial or otherwise, to support the election of candidates for public office. This is all in the context of their interference with the New York Post story. Steve, this is breaking. More to come.
I want a letter, Raheem. I want a letter from Bill Barr that says, hey, you do this again, we're going to throw you in jail and take the company away. I want a letter from Ronna McDaniel, the team over at the RNC. Ronna, come on, you've been doing such a great job. Let's get the lawyers over there. Let's file a lawsuit at the FEC right now. This is payment in kind. This is a contribution in kind, is it not, Mr. Raheem Kassam?
Yeah, of course it is. But I don't want to see any letters. I'm sick of these letters. I'm sick of this, polite, awfully, as you say, way of dealing with these people. They are in your face, smacking you around every single day. And as I said in the last hour, the level to which they get away with this is criminal. It's criminal. They're using a never-before-seen monopoly in this country to take down information. Listen, I hate invoking 1984. I think it's a cliche at this point. But I will do in this moment, because this is memory holing. This is what Winston Smith was doing. He's putting the bits of paper in the memory hole. They don't exist. The New York Post, it doesn't exist. As far as these guys are concerned, right here, it's in my hands. I got the front page, courtesy of Jack Maxey, holding it up here right now, in the memory hole, as far as these guys are concerned. Steve, it's past time for letter writing competitions.
Raheem, I was going to frame that, and you've just crumpled it.
A memory holder.
Thrown it to the floor.
No. We'll straighten it out, Jack. Don't worry. We got to get that up on the thing. October 14th, October 15th, 2 days in American history that won't soon be forgotten. The oligarchs of Silicon Valley exposed themselves yesterday. It's now time for the American people. When I say American people, that's led by hashtag War and Pandemic in the live stream. Tell us what you're going to do about it. We want to hear an action plan. I agree with Raheem Kassam. I'm tired of letters. I want to see Barr and the DOJ going to court, shut this thing down. I want to see the RNC going to court and shut this thing down. Okay, hashtag War and Pandemic, the live stream, a lot going on. We're bringing all the threads together today to put you on the cutting edge of world news. Remember, tomorrow's news today, the signal, not the noise. Talking about signal, we're going to have Chris Fenton feeding the dragon next on War Room Pandemic.
America's favorite easy on, easy off energy compression socks just got better. Introducing Copperfit Energy Plus, the world's first graduated compression socks with a rich blend of ingredients found in the top moisturizing lotions and creams. These micro-encapsulated ingredients are infused into the compression fabric and are gradually released and absorbed by your movement. Motion-activated technology designed to hydrate and soften for all-day comfort. The more you move, the more Copperfit Energy Socks delivers.
I'm not thinking about that I have compression socks on. That simple fact that they feel better with them on than with them off makes me love these socks.
Our most advanced copper-infused compression fabric, made in FDA-approved manufacturing facilities, woven into our easy on, easy off graduated compression sock to help reduce swelling and discomfort from prolonged sitting or standing.
I feel that soothingness in my calves and in my ankles, but they can make my feet feel good after 300 miles on the road, and they got to be good for anybody else.
Enhanced compression around the arch and ankles for extra support and relief of muscle aches and pains. And a soft, shock-absorbing footbed for all-day comfort.
All that arch pain that I typically have is just relieved.
They are super comfortable.
They do the job. They're easy and they're effective. That's the whole point of wearing them.
Commercials always promise, promise, promise. This was something easy to try. Just put on a sock, see if it works. I have to say that I'm a fan.
The first ever easy on, easy off compression socks with hydrating ingredients, worn by thousands of essential workers across the U.S. Order your Energy Plus compression socks online now at GetEnergyPlus.com for only $19.99 or call 1-800-515-8892. Order right now and get a second pair free.
I get compression, I get comfort, all in one sock.
Motorcycle guys appreciate the better technology. This is better technology.
Feel the power of Copperfit.
So, Frank, you're the big hurt. Why do you need Nugenics?
After 40, a guy loses free testosterone. Even me. I couldn't stay in shape like I used to.
Frank! So does Nugenics really work?
Oh, yeah. My workouts are incredible now. I'm feeling stronger, more energetic, with a lot more drive.
Frank. So, say I knew someone who should try Nugenics. How does he do that?
It's easy. Just send a text to get a complimentary bottle.
Frank's right. Now you can claim a complimentary bottle of award-winning Nugenics by texting BUFF to 42424. Its unique formula is powered by Testofen, a patented key ingredient clinically researched to help a man feel stronger, leaner, more energetic, and more passionate. Text BUFF to 42424 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenics Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of new Nugenics Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. That's BUFF to 42424.
War Room Pandemic with Stephen K. Bannon.
The epidemic is a demon, and we cannot let this demon hide.
War Room Pandemic. Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
Is rude, but you have to be rude. The guy's a liar. He's a liar, and he's a corrupt politician. Joe Biden is a totally corrupt politician. All you have to do is look at the Sun's server. I can't believe they found his laptop. It's incredible.
So, I think the Democrats, they got every black celebrity on their team, so they just figure, tell kids shut up and vote. And so I ain't gonna do that. I'm gonna push the program. We got a program, I'm pushing it on everybody. We also met with the Republicans. They brought us in, we talked to them. They've moved their agenda a lot because of what we said. They put $500 billion on the table, and but who knows? Who knows what's gonna really happen? I just know one of them gonna win, and I don't know if it can really matter to us. We gotta just push whoever is in there, because ain't nobody really solved our problems. People say we can't take another 4 years of this. And black people, we could take anything.
Okay, there you got. You've got the president on Stuart Varney. We're going to get to that in a moment. Him talking about the stories today in the New York Post, also yesterday's story. And that's Ice Cube. Remember, Ice Cube, Jeff Quatness, my old partner, was on Tucker. I guess it's about like 2 months ago. And then Ice Cube talking about, they've been talking to the White House, talking to the president about the Platinum program, which I think is one of the smartest things around. It actually goes to the African-American community and say, hey, guess what? Access to capital is the key here. Where did I hear that before? On the War Room. We've been saying that for years. Access to capital in the African-American community will solve a lot of problems. The entrepreneurial nature, the hardworking folks, working class in the African-American community, if you open up and give them access to capital, it's going to be a renaissance. And the Platinum program is a start. But I think you're seeing here with a guy like Cube, who's pretty smart, you're starting to see a real reflection on, hey, we're just not going to vote the Democratic Party line anymore. Remember, Michael Moore, he says this. In Michigan in 2016, Moore holds up that card. I think there were 80,000 cards, ballots that basically were down ticket, all Democratic and left blank President of the United States. A lot of folks up there were not prepared to vote for Donald J. Trump for president, but they weren't prepared to vote for Hillary Clinton. I think you're going to see a lot of that this time. I think you'll be quite surprised of what happens here, of who doesn't vote for Joe Biden. Not saying they're going to vote for Donald J. Trump, but still saying, hey, you know what? I can't buy in this neoliberal neocon program. There's got to be a better way. I don't know if Trump can deliver, but I'm prepared to at least give him the benefit of the doubt. Raheem, Jack, let's talk about Stuart Varney. How is the president today? Is he focused enough on this that you think he's got the details? Is he reading the New York Post?
Look, I think the president needs to brush up on some of the details of this. Obviously a very busy man, but you heard the sort of intro to that on Stuart Varney just now. We heard some of it yesterday as well before the president went off script. And I understand, like in the heat of a rally, you want to go where the crowd wants to go. But I think the president also has to signal to his supporters that this is way bigger than just a picture of Hunter Biden with a crack pipe. You know, as enjoyable as that is to lambast Joe Biden over his absolute, degenerate of a son taking all this cash, his experience in the field of work, maybe falling asleep with a crack pipe in his mouth. Very sad as well, by the way. But the president needs to extract from the information that's coming out in the New York Post, and as you say, the buried leads that are getting reported in other news outlets as well, the signal of all of this, and amplify the signal of all of this. You got in the New York Post today, Steve, details of these Chinese companies, the CEFC and other groups like this. We've looked into this. Natalie Winters has looked into these sorts of companies for a long old while now. These aren't just kind of names that you mention because they're on a piece of paper somewhere. They are deeply entrenched. They have armies of lobbyists here in the swamp in Washington, D.C., and that needs to come out of all of this stuff so the American people can understand the distinction that they're being asked to choose between now, November the 3rd, and God knows how else long beyond that, is that the CEFC lobbyists, the Hunter Biden types, that is an entrenched class of corrupt people here in Washington, D.C., versus what the President of the United States is offering, which is far and away different from that. And I'm happy to debate any person who wants to debate, the president's business dealings, his tax returns, and blah, 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 blah. But here's the deal. There's absolutely no comparison between the way Hunter Biden has comported himself with the reference in these emails to the big man, right? 10K put aside for the big man. Well, who's a big man in Hunter Biden's life?
No. That's 10%. Hold on, that's 10%, not 10K. That's 10% of a joint venture going to be worth hundreds of millions. It's a lot different than 10K. They're skimming off all the consulting fees and all the travel and expenses. Biden's getting 10% of a fully financed, massive joint venture that's going to be worth hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah, sorry, that was equity distribution, right? 20 for Hunter, 10 for this guy, 20 for this guy, and then 10 held by H, that's Hunter, for the big guy. So who's the big guy? And that's what I want to hear President Trump talking about tonight. Who's the big guy? Let's hear it. Let's ask the Joe Biden campaign, who's the big guy in this scenario, in this equity share deal? And why is Hunter holding something from the Chinese Communist Party for him?
Hey, Haley, here's the dubious source. It's Hunter's hard drive. Look at the Daily Mail right now. I think they've done a good job of taking the New York Post reporting and actually finding the buried leads. They've got the email up on the site. If we can throw that up during this thing, the New York Post and the Daily Mail. Daily Mail's done a great job of, it's the largest website in the world. And it's also got a great story right next to it. Sorry, not sorry. And that's the joke of what Twitter and Facebook have told you. Oh, we're sorry. We maybe not communicate, but still got it shut down. And they shut the White House down. They shut the White House down from communicating with the American people. These tech oligarchs are out of control. Hey, Jack Dorsey, he did it again. I throw him in jail, right? The American people got to step up. If you let these punks in Silicon Valley are playing Smash Mouth, okay? This is nothing subtle about this. They're just going to shut you down. I've said for a long time, they got to be treated like public utilities or you're going to have this problem. And now you've got it. Remember, this is all financed with your money. This is all the deplorables. This is all institutional money. This all comes from the private equity firms, the venture capital firms, the hedge funds, the money managers. That's all your cash. That's your pension funds, your insurance policies, your savings accounts. It's all your cash. It's all your money. And this is what they're doing with your money. They're suppressing your voice. You know why? Because they don't want to hear your voice. That's why they got to destroy Donald Trump. Here's what they want you to do. They want you to go to your job that's not paying you enough, right, because they've allowed the Chinese Communist Party to infiltrate the United States. They want you to pay your exorbitant taxes, right, pay these huge taxes, and send your sons and daughters out to all the wars that they want to start in the Middle East and other parts of the world. That's what they want you to do. They want you to provide the cannon fodder, and they want you to write checks. And the third thing they want you to do is keep your mouth shut, okay? This is where we are today in this republic. And if you don't think that Franklin was right, a republic if you can keep it. If we allow this social media shutdown that was built off of your money and your government regulations, right? If you allow that to happen, which you basically either paid for or helped to make sure they had the social order underneath it to actually build it, then I got to tell you, they're going to do nothing but suppress you. Jack, Raheem, update me on where this story is right now, because I'm kind of in the zone. If you notice, right, I'm just kind of hyper gliding through here.
Steve, as I said earlier, they can't camp this down. The Sun now has a headline that they just published. Hunter Biden tried to cash in for his family with Chinese firm as $1 billion payday after visit with his dad. New bombshell emails unveiled by the Post on Thursday show Hunter was apparently in talks with Shanghai-based conglomerate CEFC. This is their headline. This is going to be going around the world. I want to step back, though, a little bit to talk about what Ice Cube was saying. And I think it's a real tell on the different ways that Donald Trump communicates with the American people and the Democratic Party communicates with the American people, that they put in boxes based upon superficialities. Donald Trump treats all Americans the same. He doesn't have any low expectations for the black community. In fact, he has high expectations for them because he knows that they're ballers. Look what he's done. He's done prison reform. That never happened. This is fixing the errors created by the 1996 crime bill written by Joe Biden, okay? Now he's giving money to traditionally black colleges. Why? Because he knows they're great institutions that have a huge historical record of providing some of the top Americans in our country. He's also he's putting in opportunity zones around these places. Why? He doesn't have low expectations. He believes that if you unleash black Americans, they are going to succeed like no one else. Why? Because they're Americans. They got grit and they can do it. Whereas the Democrats always describe them as somehow other, some group of people that require saving by the Democratic Party. They don't need saving. They just need equal opportunity, and that's what Donald Trump is doing through opportunity zones, through education, through prison reform. And I hope they remember that on November 3rd. I think Ice Cube is starting to wake up to it.
No, and not just that, it also this Platinum program, which is access to capital. I happen to think access to capital is the key that picks the lock, but I agree with you, Jack. I think the enslavement of the Democratic Party or the freedom of what President Trump is talking about, I think is absolutely correct, and that has a historical lineage, right, since the Republican Party is the party of Abraham Lincoln, the great emancipator. That would be the same Abraham Lincoln that these punks out in Portland, Oregon tore down the other day, right, and desecrated out in Portland, who are still not under arrest. DOJ Attorney General Barr, what are you doing? President's not happy. Way to make him happy is arrest some punks out there in Portland, the desecrating statues. We'll be back. Chris Fenton, Feeding the Dragon, in a moment.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and as you know, my passion is to help each and every one of you get the best sleep of your life. That's why I created my new Giza Dreams bed sheets. I guarantee you they'll be the most comfortable sheets you'll ever own.
With the Giza Dream Sheets, I'm getting the best sleep of my life. They are so soft and smooth. I never slept so good.
I fall asleep faster because I'm actually comfortable.
I started by using the world's best cotton called Giza. It's only grown in a region between the Sahara Desert, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Nile River. It's ultra soft and breathable, but extremely durable, which is why I can give you my full 10-year warranty. But I didn't stop there. My Giza sheets also include full 21-inch wide pillowcases that will fit over any pillow and deep pocket sheets that will fit over any mattress. I guarantee you the first night you sleep on my sheets, you'll never want to sleep on anything else.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now. MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets are available in a variety of colors and will be the softest, most comfortable sheets you will ever own. Use the promo code and get 2 for 1 low price, plus free shipping. Giza Dreams are made with the finest, most sought-after cotton in the world. Giza cotton was once reserved for only the finest dress shirts, but is now available in Mike's Giza Dream Sheets. They feature a beautiful silky sateen weave that helps keep you cool and comfortable all night long.
With the Giza Dream Sheets, I'm getting the best rest of my life.
I love my Giza Dream Sheets. Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now to get your very own MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets. Use the promo code and Mike will give you a very special 2 for 1 low price and free shipping. That's right, get 2 for 1 low price and free shipping. Call or go online now.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
My son needs this drug. I hope it doesn't cost too much. I hope my insurance pays for it. Can you tell me how much this will be?
67.
Sorry.
Wait, have you heard about GoodRx? GoodRx finds free coupons to help you save up to 80% on your prescriptions.
Wow. I had no idea.
GoodRx. Stop paying too much for your prescriptions.
These are our classes, our happy hours, our dates, our birthday parties, our shopping. We're learning new things.
Nice technique with that knife.
And getting in touch with things we left behind. These are our lives now. Come be a part of it online. GoDaddy is making it possible for everyone to create a website for free. Learn more at GoDaddy.com.
War Room Pandemic with Stephen K. Bannon.
The epidemic is a demon, and we cannot let this demon hide.
War Room Pandemic. Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
For China. I've spent a lot of time, apparently I was told by the folks at State, I've spent more time in private meetings with Xi Jinping than any world leader. I have 25 hours of private dinners with him, just he and I, and one interpreter.
Okay, welcome back to War
we are
Room. Welcome back to War Room Pandemic. This is Stephen K. Bannon, looking at my producer for the Open. That was Joe Biden bragging about the 25 hours that he spent with Xi, talking at one-on-one dinners. We've always asked for a readout. Mike Pompeo, can we please get the readout of those 25 hours of just him and the interpreter? We'd like to know what they talked about. I think they talked about everything he was going to do to help the Chinese Communist Party. You know why? Right afterwards, his family went over there and cutting billions of dollars, not just the private equity fund, the $1.5 billion. Now you see the breadth of their corruption in one of the most controversial companies in China, China Energy and China Energy Funding Corporation, CEFC, with a chairman, was it Yi Zhengming, who's now missing, right? Most of the people in China, the high levels will tell you They think he's dead. They think he got killed because he knew too much. The company's in bankruptcy, very controversial company. Went from, I think, $40 million in revenue to $38 billion in revenue in just a couple of years. This guy was walking around New York City, being walked around New York City, dropping money everywhere, Metropolitan Opera, all these different cultural organizations. This guy was a big shot. And the reason he was a big shot, he was buying off senior members of the elite, okay, the ones that are your betters. Part of that was a former vice president of the United States, Joe Biden. We got Greg Sargent, breaking news. Washington Post got Greg Sargent, the plumb line, the columnist over there, saying this headline, Trump's fake new Biden scandal has deeper purpose. Bannon revealed it. Says laughably weak. Greg, what are you saying today about the emails? Here's what's weak, buddy. It's a hard drive. And just remember, Murdoch and their lawyers went all through this, and their lawyers are just as good, if not better, than Jeff Bezos, the oligarch from Silicon Valley, and the lawyers at the Washington Post. And by the way, Greg, Washington Post been crawling all over us to get that thing, want to break all kinds of stories. Sorry, not sorry. Washington Post doesn't get it. So, Greg, want you to, I know it's not a well-read column, but we're going to make it well-read. We're going to put it up today. We invite you to come on the show. You want to debate this? You want to go through it? What's your take on it today? By the way, I wasn't a big name in doing the Burisma thing. I've always said it's a sideshow to a sideshow. That's what the Chinese call small money, right? That's tip money. What it showed is Joe Biden stone cold lied. And yesterday was his official calendar. Certainly didn't meet with the guy in the official calendar. Okay? And in that same Council on Foreign Relations tape, I think it's Richard Haas is actually doing the interview. He brags about his involvement in getting rid of the prosecutor. Brags about it. What a tough guy is. Guy says, oh, the only president can make that decision. Oh, yeah? This is Joe Biden. Oh, yeah? He treated that guy, it sounded like he treated the prosecutor guys like he treated Corn Pop, right? Except he didn't have the hidden chain inside the inside the towel. Remember Corn Pop. So where are we? We got Greg Sargent. We got the mainstream media coming out with all this phony columns. Hey guys, embrace the suck. If you can get past Twitter, go to the New York Post and see the dozens of emails and text messages between all the advisors setting up the joint ventures, getting Joe Biden his equity cut, talking about all the money. New York Post has got it. Daily Mail's got it. The Sun's got it. Biggest tabloid in the world. It's all over the world. You can't stop this. It's metastasizing. People know the Bidens are, and I shouldn't say scumbag, so I won't, but Frank Biden's certainly a scumbag. Hunter Biden's depraved, right? And you'll get America and the world will see that in living color over the next couple of days. So, Raheem and Jack, before we bring in Chris Fenton, I want to hear your guys' take on things. Give me any breaking news. I know we got breaking news on this nonstop.
Well, this is what I like about this op-ed in the Washington Post by this Greg Sargent guy. I guess his thing's called the plumb line. But speaking of scumbags, I think we should call it the scum line. He opens up by calling this a laughably weak news scandal. And I'll remind you that this is from the outlet that has "Democracy Dies in Darkness" on its masthead. The same entity that ran the Russia hoax, the Russia collusion scandal for years on years, that has run all sorts of hoaxes on its audience, is now saying that this is a laughably weak news scandal. Maybe they're giving us an insight, Steve, into their mentality about when they put out hoaxes. Maybe this is weak by their hoax standard, but it's certainly not weak by the American public standard. And how do we know that? Because it's trending nonstop everywhere, to the point where the social media firms are having to put not just their fingers on the scales, but their whole bodies, institutions, buildings, algorithms on the scales to stop this being disseminated further beyond. And there's a kicker in this story, right? In this op-ed, rather, I should say. It says the sourcing of the emails is hilariously suspect. They were supposedly transferred to a hard drive from a Delaware computer repair store owner from a laptop that Hunter Biden supposedly dropped off. But that's it. That's his point. He doesn't go on to say why that's not possible, why that's not plausible, why the receipts don't matter, why the signature on this doesn't matter, why the law doesn't actually transfer this hard drive and this laptop into the store owner's property, why the FBI has been sitting on this for over a year. There's none of that. And I listen to like a news roundup every morning. I get the top lines out of the Washington Post and the New York Times and the AP and the Fox News, and it's all audio stuff, and I listen to it. And what was hilarious, you want to talk hilarious, Greg Sargent, Sargent, was how quickly they wanted to all pivot away in their live coverage this morning. Hunter Biden has been accused of doing this. The Biden campaign says there was no official meeting in the official register. Of course there's not going to be an official meeting in the official register. Hunter Biden didn't go through the White House, secretary to put this meeting in the calendar. He grabs this guy, says, hey, come meet my dad. They shake hands. Who knows what they talk about? That's not put in the official register of meetings. And it's interesting, isn't it, just as a final thought, that the Biden campaign has not actually denied, not actually said outright that this didn't take place. What they've said is that there is no register in the official meeting register about this. Okay. That's it.
Greg Sargent, Greg Sargent, you got to understand something. Hunter Biden's lawyers, we got the emails, are trying to desperately track down the computer and the hard drive the last couple of days. You don't think that Rupert Murdoch's lawyers at the New York Post, pretty sophisticated organization, didn't go through this a fine-tooth comb? You got to embrace the suck, dude. These are the emails. These are the text messages. Those are the handwritten notes. It's all there in the New York Post. It's metastasizing go all over the world. What's your column going to be tomorrow in China? Why, in fact, Greg, why don't you apologize to the Chinese people? Why don't you apologize to the slave labor in China? Why don't you apologize? What was it, 4 metric tons of hair that came in the other day? Some Chinese company controlled by the CCP making wigs and everything like that. They've taken from the Chinese people. Why don't you apologize to that, Greg Sargent and Bezos, in Amazon, Bezos, Washington Post? You're a disgrace. You're all over us to get that hard drive, right? Because you just want to break the stories. No. Sorry, not going to get it. You're just going to have to sit there and see the New York Post and the Daily Mail and all these other places break it that have a bigger footprint. Hate to say it, Washington Post, your footprint's just not big enough. Okay, I want to turn to Chris Fenton, Feeding the Dragon, author of the book. Everybody out there's got to buy it. He goes through his experience of dealing with the CCP. Chris, you know China. When Joe Biden's bragging about spending 25 hours in one-on-one meetings and or dinners, private dinners with just a translator, what does that mean in Chinese, the hierarchy of Chinese business society and Chinese Communist Party society? Is that a rare occurrence for Xi to spend that much time with one guy?
Look, I think the problem is obviously we're talking about a symptom here with the Biden emails and what was going on as far as his interaction with Xi Jinping. But the cold really is the CCP. And last time I was on, I talked about patriotism before capitalism. And it's funny, that sort of caught a lot of wind after the show. And then I had a couple of friends of mine that are capitalists tell me I felt like I was speaking a communist narrative. I was becoming too Chinese by putting patriotism before capitalism. And I sat back and thought about it, and I ended up watching this documentary called the China Hustle. And I realized, oh my God, not only has patriotism been corrupted by the Chinese and the CCP, but also our form of capitalism has too. And whether these emails are accurate or not, I don't know. But it does show how complicit we have been in regards to essentially taking our form of capitalism that built this country into what it is and sold it off to the CCP. And it's something we have to fix ASAP, because if we don't, the corruption is going to get worse and worse with both our form of patriotism and capitalism, and eventually it'll be too late to rectify.
I want to bring up an interesting point. Dan David is actually the filmmaker in back of the China Hustle. He's a guy who's done some great work. I actually did his podcast for an hour a couple of weeks ago and talked a lot about the CCP. And I got Alexandra Priad-Fish, if we can reach out to her. They actually, Twitter and Facebook actually suppressed the ability to actually put that out because of the CCP. I want to find out where it is. But Chris, you're absolutely correct. I mean, China Hustle is amazing. And it really brought to light how they've infiltrated the capital markets. So talk to people. You know the CCP better than anybody since you've had to deal with them as a film producer and as an executive. When you see the New York Post story and you see all these kind of secret joint ventures they've had, secret partnerships, what should the American people be asking, Chris? You know how the system works over there. What should the American people, as they read these stories, what questions should they be asking of the Bidens?
Well, as you know, I try to stay nonpartisan on this because China is such a red and blue issue. It affects 99% of the country in a negative way. So I don't want to jump into the Biden specifics. What I want to jump into is the fact that if that is true, it's just an example of what's been going on both sides of the aisles, how much complicity has been involved. If you've seen China Hustle, you know that there's some whistleblowers that came out and became squeaky wheels on the subject. I've come out on it in regards to the censorship issues and some of the processes and the JVs and the stuff that we've sold out to China in order to damage the health of Americans. And it's something that both the red and blue are complicit in, and we need to address it. So if anything, I'm looking at those emails and I'm going, hey, this is yet another wake-up call. This is another Daryl Morey tweet. This is another Mark Cuban, Megyn Kelly podcast interview. This is just yet another example of Mulan and Disney, where suddenly we got to go, guys, wake up, America, wake up. We are going to lose our form of patriotism and capitalism that made America great if we do not fix this now. We have a ticking clock, and it has to be done.
So, Chris, how do people get access to the book? How do they get access to your website? How do they get access to your social media? Give us all your connections.
Yeah, my Twitter is at the Dragon Feeder. Our Audible just came out on the book. By the way, thank you to your audience for keeping it up on lists. I've been getting on the left side platforms quite a bit because that is super important, yet I haven't been on CNN or MSNBC, so I ask, please go out, buy it, help it raise up its profile on these lists, because it really helps me build the platform to continue being the squeaky wheel. And quite frankly, it's working. I got Judd Apatow into it, and there's one of the basketball players started to get into it. Like, now we're starting to build momentum, and we got to keep that going. So thank you to your audience, and thank you for allowing me to be on this show. It's an honor and always humbled.
Chris Fenton, you're an American patriot, and you brought up the thing about patriotism versus capitalism. Hey, you're right, the right place. Remember, our audience is capitalist, but they're also populist, they're economic nationalists, but most important, they're American patriots. Thank you for joining us today on War and Pandemic. Okay, hashtag War and Pandemic. Want to hear everything you got to say about Fenton? Live stream. Want to talk about the Bidens? What questions should America be asking of the Bidens, given the expose? And by the way, there's a lot more to come, so don't think that's all of it. And also, where do we stand with these oligarchs in Silicon Valley, the oligarchs that are trying to shut you down and take your voice? We're going to take a short commercial break. We'll return with Raheem Kassam, Jack Maxey, Stephen K. Bannon. War Room Pandemic. We will be back in a moment.
Do you have any idea how your mattress affects your body and how well you sleep? Is it too hard or too soft, causing you to wake up with sore shoulders, back, or hips? Are you uncomfortable because you're too hot or too cold? Now you can get the total body support you need and the better sleep you want with the new MyPillow mattress topper.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell. When I invented my new MyPillow mattress topper, I made it to have everything you'd ever want in a topper. My mattress topper helps give you the support you need, helps relieve your pressure points, and regulates your body temperature for you as an individual. It comes with a 10-year warranty. You can wash and dry the cover. It's made in the USA, and I back it with my 60-day money-back guarantee.
Go to MyPillow.com or call now to get your very own MyPillow mattress topper. Use the promo code and Mike will give you 30% off and 2 standard MyPillows absolutely free. Order now.
MyPillow topper delivers on its promise to give me a better night's sleep.
I can sleep all night through, and it's a miracle for me.
Mike's exclusive 3-layer design starts with a layer of MyPillow foam, providing you superior support and comfort. The second layer of transitional foam evenly distributes body weight and helps relieve uncomfortable pressure points for optimal comfort. Mike's ultra-soft outer layer is a patented temperature-regulating cover that helps keep you at your ideal sleeping temperature all night long. Unlike other sleep systems costing thousands, the MyPillow mattress topper takes comfort to a whole new level without any wires, remotes, or moving parts. Call now or go to MyPillow.com to order your MyPillow topper. Use the promo code to save 30%. When you do, Mike will give you 2 of his standard MyPillows absolutely free. That's right, 2 standard MyPillows free and 30% off your MyPillow topper today. Order now.
I personally guarantee it's going to change your bed into the most comfortable bed you'll ever own.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com. Milesguo.com.
If you're over 50, imagine you could turn back the clock on your stiff, achy joints 10, even 20 years. Imagine you could do this without products that just temporarily hide the symptoms and may have side effects. Imagine no more. Get your complimentary sample of Instaflex Advanced just by texting JOINT to 231231. Instaflex Advanced is different because it targets the root cause of joint soreness and stiffness. It doesn't just cover up symptoms. Instead, it bathes your joints in its unique combination of 5 key natural ingredients found in no other product. Key ingredients backed by 5 clinical studies. Instaflex Advanced is so powerful, you could have better knees in just 1 week. Maybe that's why it's #1 at GNC. But you can only get your complimentary sample by texting JOINT to 231231. Plus, text now and we'll include a tube of Instaflex pain cream with its exclusive oxygenated oil for fast-acting relief from the pain of arthritis, backaches, and sore muscles, absolutely free. Text JOINT to 231231.
War Room Pandemic with Stephen K. Bannon.
The epidemic is a demon, and we cannot let this demon hide.
War Room Pandemic. Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
This is Jack Maxey getting some mic time here in the War Room on Capitol Hill. Something we were talking about over the break, and how you're seeing these sort of progressive minds, these thought leaders on the left, beginning to sort of change their point of view, question. And there was a great sarcastic kind of thread by Sean Ono Lennon, the son of John and Yoko Ono, when he was talking about when these Antifa BLM terrorists tore down the Lincoln statue in Portland a few nights ago. And that struck a lot of people as odd, because why would Lincoln be the object of your hatred when here's the guy who freed the slaves? But Sean Lennon wrote this. He said, "Can someone explain why it appears a Lincoln statue was toppled in Portland? Asking for a friend." And then he follows on with, "The pyramids of Giza were made under coercion from evil pharaohs who were not very woke. I think we can all agree the pyramids should be torn down immediately." Then, not to be outdone, he says, "Since the invasion of Britain by Emperor Julius Caesar in 55 BC, Italy has remained definitely silent. I think it's time Italy was held accountable." This is because what we are seeing out there, the narrative from the left, is becoming so ridiculous that even Sean Lennon has to comment on it. And I think he's not alone. Steve, back to you.
Yeah, Raheem, update us. What's going on, and then we want to get to what's on National Postal Day. I want to President's schedule where we are with glorious ACB. They're going to wrap that. Mitch McConnell just said they're going to go to a debate and vote on the 23rd and stick around until they finish it, hopefully that weekend. Shouldn't delay. I don't know why they're waiting until next Friday. Ought to wrap this thing up tomorrow. They ought to be there Monday. Let's get this thing done. It's just ridiculous that they're waiting on this, and they're playing with fire. I think it's time to go. She was magnificent the last couple of days. The best moment of the whole thing was she turned the note card over and the pad and had nothing on it. She'd been up there with these clowns, these Democratic clown senators, just bench pressing them the entire time with no notes. I mean, it's amazing. Raheem Kassam.
Yeah, this afternoon on the National Pulse, we'll be joined by Thomas Farnan, the author of The Russia Lie, to walk us through some more of these details that we're starting to see, the buried leads in the New York Post articles and other information that'll come out. Of course, we know what happened with Bruce Orr yesterday as well, and the Justice Department walking through that. And also we'll be discussing in detail with Natalie Winters how these tech companies work, how the suppression works, how the boards are made up, how the Facebook Oversight Board works, what organizations, entities, and countries that these guys are linked up with, and how those relationships operate. I do want to just make mention of a couple of things real quick as well. Britain is in the throes of new pandemic regulations between different tiers that they have there, and more fines being leveled at ordinary businesses that are being tried to open. Sadiq Khan is trying to lock London back down again. The police are saying that they're not going to be prosecuting members members of parliament who knew they had the CCP virus and travelled regardless. So in the UK, it's one rule for the ruling class and another rule for everyone else. And epitomised by, as much as I like the fact that she did this, a lot of people will be upset that they can't do the same. The Queen, making her first public engagement outside royal grounds since the beginning of this pandemic, does not wear a mask when she goes out, and that's I'm all in favour of the Queen doing that if the situation is safe to do so. But other people are not allowed to exercise that level of freedom, and so while it gives the country, and I think will give the country a lot of happiness and a lot of confidence to see Her Majesty the Queen out there maskless doing a first engagement, they will also be asking, hey, what about us? What about the rest of us? We want to go out and live our lives as well.
One other thing I want to throw in on the pandemic.
Yeah, go ahead, Jack.
If I can.
Go ahead.
You know, we're looking at a 14-day average, really almost 3 weeks, where the infection rate has been below 5%, right? But the number of infections has gone up significantly. So we're up 14% over 2 weeks. But here we have the number of deaths are flat. You have to remember that this thing is changing. To give you an idea how the public perception of this disease is changing, there's an incredible headline out of Utah this morning. It's saying that officials at Brigham Young University, and actually it's in Idaho, are saying that their satellite campus there, that students are actively trying to get the coronavirus so that they can make money donating plasma. It doesn't seem like there's the kind of fear that the Democratic Party would like us all to have out there. The Queen, I think, has tipped her hat about how she feels about it. And college students, when they're trying to catch a disease so that they can earn some money to go down to the beer and be super bar and be super spreaders, I think this is over, Steve.
You heard it from Jack Mack. You heard it from Jack Maxey.
Well, he was the first that said when it started,
I can't even comment. Yeah, Jack Maxey was founded on December 26th, Boxing Day. We should have had him at work and not having Raheem Kassam special. We got 2 minutes left, guys. Update me on social media and the biggest story in the world. Now it's the Chinese Communist Party essentially bribing the Bidens. The Bidens taking the bribe. Where do we stand with this?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, the news story that's up on the New York Post homepage right now is, of course, still being suppressed by the big tech, by the social media firms. You can't post the link to there. It won't actually allow you to tweet that link. A lot of people migrating over to different social media platforms as a result of this. I know that Parler has, again, experienced a massive uptick in how many users that they get on a daily basis as a result of the big tech actions yesterday. However, that's not the point. Especially because a lot of people will recognize that then you're just kind of talking to a conservative bubble when you do these things. The point is getting some of these people, and I'm specifically talking about the Jim Jordans of the world, who have been all talk on big tech, who have even covered for big tech in some scenarios over the last couple of months. It's about action. We've heard from Ted Cruz. This morning we've heard from others, Josh Hawley and beyond. So I think every single person out there needs to do their patriotic duty. Hit up your representatives across all levels. Hit up the Department of Justice. Hit up the White House and say, hey, enough is enough.
Also, you've got to retweet all these New York Post stories.
Go ahead,
and Steve, remember, we want to question what the Washington Post's motivations are. Remember, 40% of all products sold on Amazon originate in China. You don't think they've got an interest in slave labor? They do. Back to you, Steve.
Okay, Jack, we're going to delve down that more tomorrow. I think Matt Gaetz has a solution, Raheem. Republicans and conservatives, populists got to stop taking money from the social media PACs. Okay, tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Make sure you go to National Pulse today at 3. We'll see you back here with more breaking news on this scandal tomorrow morning at 10 a.m.